What is the best investment vehicle right now, according to the man himself, Robert Kiyosaki? Hi, my name is Konstantin. If you're new to this channel, I run a digital marketing agency. I talk about advertising, make money online, and personal growth. And in today's video, I would love to reflect upon a few lessons that I learned after going to the Kiyosaki live event, where I was actually able to meet one of my first mentors, Robert himself, which was super cool. So what did I learn? During this event, Kiyosaki reflected upon his own life journey and shared kind of multiple concepts out of his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you haven't read this book, Kiyosaki talks about two kind of metaphorical fathers that he had. His poor dad was in fact his real father. He taught him how to get good grades at school, how to attend university, how to find a good job and work there for the rest of your life and then retire with the remaining 401k savings that you have, right? That was his poor dad. His rich dad, on his other hand, was his mentor, right? It wasn't his second father. It would be a bit weird to have two fathers, but his rich dad, he invested in his business. He ran multiple businesses. He invested in property, in gold, in silver, right? So those are the things that Robert was learning, while growing up after his university, as he was just trying to break free from being an employee, right? Like that's what this whole journey is about. And one of the main concepts that I want to share with you was this cash flow quadrant that Robert talks about. You can find it and read about it also in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But it's actually super simple. So you've got here on the left side, E stands for being an employee, S for self-employed, B for business owner, and I for investor, right? And it's all about kind of like managing your time and leveraging your time. That's what this whole equation is all about. If you want to have time freedom, if you want to have financial freedom, if you kind of want to work from home like I'm doing right now, just like right at the beach here, you have to be able to leverage your time because, let's be real, if you're an employee, even if you earn $200,000 a year, like in sales, IT, or you're like a tech developer at Apple or Google, still you're leveraging, it's kind of like a one-on-one equation. You're leveraging X units of your time and you're getting X paid for that value you bring to the business. So, and if you get sick or something happens to you and you have a mortgage and you have a student loan to pay, as an employee, it's a very risky quadrant. Right, so if you want to leverage your time and money, you can still do what you're doing, but you have to invest in property, gold, silver, to a point where the money is gonna compound and keep working for you as opposed to you working for the money. Right, so then we've got S, which stands for self-employed. This is an area, if you do this well, it could be even better than being a business owner, right? Because like I'm currently self-employed. I leverage out a lot of the things that we do in our digital marketing agency to other experts. And because I'm doing it this way and I'm running a very small team, it gives me kind of like minimal amount of headache for maximum yield, allowing me to, run my business here from home, right at the beach, as you can see, travel with my wife and my parents all across the world. We just came back from a trip from Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand, which was a 6-week trip. And in fact, when I came back home, I had more funds than when I left, right? So that's kind of like an advantage of being self-employed if you run an online business, which we all teach about on this channel. If you're interested in starting and growing your own digital marketing agency, there's going to be a link down below for you where you can get your very first few clients. And you can do this even if you're working still somewhere, or perhaps if you're already running an agency and kind of struggling to grow, it's going to be very beneficial for you. But that could be a very lucrative opportunity for you if you do this well. Again, you can also be a self-employed bricklayer, but that opportunity kind of sucks, right? Because it's like you are still you are self-employed, but you're still not leveraging your time in the correct way. You're going and build homes as a contractor, and you're still getting paid for that package of work, that package of value that you deliver, except without the privilege of having paid leave or stuff like that, a little bit like extra protection that you would have when working for an employee as a bricklayer, right? So an interesting example, but down the line, what you can do from kind of the employing quadrant is go self-employed, become a business owner. That's kind of where I'm trying to leverage out a lot of the systems. I recently hired a salesperson. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. But that's what it really takes when trying to move from quadrant to quadrant. You're going to meet resistance. You're going to meet failure. And through the failure, you get more data points to optimize. Right, so I hired a salesperson. This person couldn't do the job, so now I know what type of people to look for in the future, right? And maybe it's going to be the third or the fifth person that we're going to hire, and they're going to do really well, right? So it's all about trying and optimizing and trying to build out the teams where you become a business owner and you own multiple departments, and in those departments there are heads of each department, and they do and solve all these problems for you, right? Like that's where you're a real business owner. However, it doesn't prevent you don't have to go down the business owner path. You can still be an employee, but then invest. You can either invest in businesses, purchasing stocks, you can purchase gold, silver, Bitcoin, and also property. And one of the things that really stuck with me, Kiyosaki shared a story of how what kind of investments he does when he starts a business, right? So he doesn't like buy stocks at Apple or Amazon or Tesla or anything like that. He actually bought a small gold farm that actually like digging ground and finding gold. And that company was at an infancy stage. So it was a very small company. And what he's done was very clever. He bought up the company while it was small. With his leverage, his expertise and skill set, they were able to grow the company and to a point that it went public, right? And because he owned all the shares in the company, the moment it went public, all the shares skyrocketed. And at some stage, they just exited the business with a pile of cash, right? That was a very interesting way of investing. Another huge investment vehicle is obviously property, right? This is something I'm passionate about as well, and slowly to understand better and better. And what I love about property is that it's a very in-demand service, right? If you own a property and someone lives in there, like they can't just say like, hey man, like I'm out of here, like where are you gonna go and sleep on the street or something, right? So it's like it's a very needed service, providing a lot of value, as opposed to where in the past I invested in gold and silver and I had just like a huge pile of gold and silver stored in a safe somewhere in the city, and it wasn't really doing anything while sitting there in the safe, you know what I mean? It wasn't really providing value to anyone. It was just sitting there like, yes, it was appreciating slowly in value, just like property does, except for the fact that it wasn't giving me any recurring revenue or anything like that. So it was like a huge weight of my shoulders when I finally sold all the gold and silver I had. And now I'm thinking about property, stocks, because again, like I understand business quite well. If I invest in Apple, I invest in the growth of the company, as opposed to, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are a legitimate investment vehicle. However, with that, it's so volatile, right? Like it depends on your risk tolerance and kind of like what you want to get out of it. Like it potentially, if you buy Bitcoin, it can go up to 1 million, then you've got jackpot. But at the same time, with everything around AI, digital stuff, it out of the sudden it can break and it can go to zero out of the sudden, right? So there's a huge risk to it. Because let's be real, like Bitcoin has only been around for like the last 10 years, where like property, gold and silver has been around for thousands of years, and it's been proven by the test of times. And personally, as our agency and everything that we do in our business is digitally, I want to diversify my risk and remove myself from the digital world into the physical world, if that makes sense, right? So property, gold, silver is in that sense a risk diversification to the very volatile and very untangible online world. So I hope you found this cash flow quadrant incredibly valuable. Again, at the end of the day, what is the best investment for you? It's all about knowing thyself. My personal advice is that the best investment you can make is in yourself, my friend. The more you learn, the better you become at what you do. Naturally, whether you're an employee, self-employed, or a business owner, your value goes up. You make more and more money. That money, you can choose whatever you feel like. If you're into Bitcoin, you can invest in Bitcoin. If you're gold and silver, you can invest there. If you're passionate about property, you can invest in property, right? So it's all about becoming better as a person, becoming better at potentially hiring people, outsourcing things so you can get more time, and investing those cash flow resources so that the money is leveraged and is actually working for you as opposed to you working for the money. I hope you found this video incredibly valuable. I learned a lot throughout the event. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end. There's so much more content to come. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. If you have any questions, drop the comments down below. And I really look forward to seeing the next one.